Do you know you have blind spots in your body? Hello, I'm Roberta Tachi and this is part of the Awakens class. You know that you have tension in your body in several areas or one particular area, but what you do not know is that you have blind spots. In the same way when you're driving that you cannot see certain area, you cannot see the car that's coming or a motorcycle that's coming. In the same way, there are areas of tension in your body that you have no way to know. I'm going to give you the example of a client of mine. I'm going to change the story a little bit, but just to illustrate for you to know what happened in our body. A lot of people think, you might also think that you need to have like a trauma or something really bad happen to you, that you would have tension, constrictions, that you would have this movement of closing inside of your body because something happened to you, something that was not good. But that's not the case all the time. My client, very beautiful, pretty woman with a beautiful blue eyes, beautiful skin, really a beautiful woman. So we are working together and a lot of constrictions, she had a lot of constrictions, a lot of tension in her face and a lot of fear in the bones of her face. And this is, you might be surprised, but in fact this can go all the way toward the bone and you can have fear there, you can have certain emotions there when you are really hiding inside because something is going on. So her childhood was wonderful, her parents, wonderful people, spiritual people, conscious people, everything good. She never had any bigger issue in her childhood, but she was very beautiful. And as we are working, we got into 1-year-old and her mother used to say that people would stop on the street to tell her how her daughter was beautiful. And this happens often, so all the time, people that she has never seen. So this is something very positive, you know, very beautiful, just appreciating the beauty. But for the child, this was not a comfortable situation. So people that she has never seen before just would come so close to her face and especially her eyes to say how beautiful she was, how beautiful her eyes were. Or are, they're still beautiful now. But so that's for you to see that it's not something negative that happened. Everybody's appreciating something beautiful, but that turned into a constriction, a tightness, a tension inside of the body. And we have fascia that also involves the eyeball. So this membrane also covers the eyeball. So she has the eyeball all full of tension and also tension in the very center of her own eyes. She would never ever discover this on her own. And I mean, that's a quite strong statement, but most of the case, it's very, very difficult that you would discover that on your own because it's so automatically that you close when something happened or just the memory of something that you do not perceive that you do that. That's why it's so important to work with someone who really knows that, who is really attuned to that, so that any movement of closing I can perceive or someone else can perceive and help you to open that. So that's why all of us, we have blind spots and it's necessary that someone else point out to us until a certain level where then you become so present in so many parts of the body that you can on your own already figure it out or know when you constrict, when you tensed up, when you close inside. It can be such a subtle movement. Don't think it's like this. It's really, no one would be able to see the eyeball constricting, to see that tension there. Another day I was working with someone who was half of the tongue was getting tension. And as the half of the tongue, when I say half, it's not half toward the tip, but horizontally. So just half of the tongue, the upper part, was constricting, was getting tensed and tensed. Every time the tongue got tensed, the heart would close, the chest would tighten, the stomach would close, as if it were defending, the person's defending her own life in that moment. And that's exactly what happens. The sympathetic nervous system kicks in and is going to close and protect you like this. The stomach is going to constrict. You're going to go up, the legs, the soles of your feet. You might lose the ground and you do not know why. And the reason this happens is all very subtle, but it affects the whole body and can be something very positive like being beautiful. Or, of course, can be also other things. But this is just to let you know that you have blind spots, and sometimes it was not something traumatically bad that happened, but something even positive that is an effect in the body and can trigger the autonomic nervous system into defense. All right? So I hope if you have any question about that, feel free to comment below. And if you have questions about what can be also triggering for you to close, or if you have a notion of something that happens to you that you feel that you close internally. And subscribe for the channel, and I hope to see you again.